First of all, thank you to CIRCit and the good people here at DTU for inviting us. It's great to be here and to tell a little bit about how we look at sustainability and circular economy. Everything is possible for our Lord and a mechanic. That was the motto of the founder of this company some 70 years ago in Haugesund in the west coast of Norway, right after war. Starting to build a small mechanic workshop to produce urban furniture and a lot of other stuff. As we see from this photo, which some of you recognize is Times Square, it was possible for that guy. We are standing there today, which I think is a testament that some solid furniture can go a long way. What we like to say is that it's possible to choose sustainability. We firmly believe that we are now at a small space in time where it's possible to take leadership in terms of sustainability, and actually also to capitalize on it. We believe that in some years it's going to be more of a hygiene factor, and it's not going to be possible to take position the same way it is now. And we also see that I come from a financial background, and I was a business controller in this company, and we see that it's not until you merge finance and sustainability that you can actually have the power behind it to push through, also in the leadership groups, also with the shareholders. We are lucky because we have the ownership is private, and it's very concentrated, and also behind this sustainability agenda. But for many public companies it's a whole different situation. So then you need to look at how you can merge the finance and the sustainability parts. Alright, we're gonna go down memory lane a little bit here. Some of you might recognize the guy on the left. It's called Milton Friedman. He's a Nobel Prize winning economist. He's American. He's quite famous for a chronicle he wrote in the New York Times in 1970, stating that the only corporate responsibility of a business is to make profits. Anyone who tells you otherwise is a puppet of the intellectual elite who wants to destabilize the free society. And unfortunately, that has been the paradigm in business for some 40 years, and we see we currently stand at a verge of some problems that might make us think twice about this. So from us in 2019, it's really not possible to continue like Milton Friedman would have us, and therefore at Vestres we have incorporated 9 out of the 17 sustainability goals into our corporate strategy, into our business philosophy. A lot of them were already aligned with what we were doing, but this certainly has given us a clear direction in terms of where to go going forward. And our goal now is actually to be recognized as the most sustainable urban furniture producer in the world. And you might say that urban furniture is quite a small business, but still it's still quite an ambitious goal at that. And we know that we are quite a small business. It's quite a small industry. We're going to need help from a lot of other industries if things are actually going to change. But we believe that nobody can do everything, but everyone can do a little bit. Everyone can do their part. And actually, if we look at Norwegian companies' profits in 2016, that's a couple of years ago, It was in total some 400 billion NOK. And if everyone gave 10% of that profit to help solve the sustainability goals, it would still be 6 billion more than the entire aid budget of Norway that year. And okay, maybe 10% is way too much. Maybe 1% is more fitting. Then okay, that would still be more than the entire Norwegian budget for education that year. So at Vestre, we have decided to give 10% of our profits to external sustainability partners, and to try to solve these goals that we have focused on. I know Milton Friedman will be turning in his grave, but we still did it. And I will now go through a few examples that might inspire you and help you to think about how you can continue this journey. First of all, we know that we need to get people into the good education. We have, of course, trainees at our factory in Torsby, Sweden, the heart of Scandinavia, where they learn to weld and all this. But we know that in other places, people have much larger issues with even going to school. So we're collaborating with UNICEF to give 3,500 children school places every year. Sometimes it's not easy for us to go and do everything ourselves. Then we see, okay, someone else can use the money better, but we still need to donate that money. Of course, we demand 100% renewable energy from our entire supply chain, and we have now started a project to completely be self-sufficient by 2025. We want to give 20% back, sell 20% back to the grid. We have currently this factory in Torsby with some 800 square meters of solar panels. Okay, it's 20% of the entire consumption for a year. It's about 100 megawatts, but still, on a good sunny day, it powers the entire factory. And we will also enforce this and try to push it down the value chain to our suppliers, our entire value chain, and try to implement the same standards for them. All right. And we know that the grandfather of the current CEO, when he started it, he had only this motto of everyone can, like the mechanic can do anything, and we know that it's the same for these guys in some conflict areas where we see that aid given from the West, it's not working. It's you feel humiliated when someone gives you something. It means that they are above you. But if you give them microloans, then they can actually pay back, and they can have the dignity as well. So hopefully we can see some small startups in conflict areas that can hopefully not be competitors, but at least provide some good furniture going forward. Okay, it had to be a Tesla, right? We need to demand technology. We need to set the demand for the right technology, and one of our main emitters is transport. So how do we solve this? Well, we thought one thing we can do is actually to fully electrify the internal transport, and we were one of the early companies to order the Tesla Semi in Norway. And we didn't really know how we're going to use it yet, but we knew that we had a partner that did the internal transport, and he was a bit shocked when he found out this, but I think we'll get him along by the time it comes, because they're usually a few years late on their promises. So it's but the thing is to demand the completely emission-free transport, and we will continue to push this also with our customer, the external transport that goes to the customers, because that's also a massive part of our emissions. Which brings us to the next one. This is actually 50% of our emissions, but okay. Steel is 7% of the world's total carbon emissions. So we choose, we need to use steel in our furniture, and it's quite a specific silicium grade to take the hot dip galvanizing. I lost you there, I saw that. But okay, we choose the Scandinavian steel because it's 30% lower emission than the average. So we have also placed the first order for hybrid, which is completely carbon-free, emission-free steel that is going to be produced by at least 2045 by SSAB, Vattenfall, and one other company that I forget. But the important thing is that it's a value choice. We could also buy from China. We could probably get cheaper steel elsewhere, but we need to encourage those that actually take the steps. So we choose Scandinavian steel. And then we come back to the education bit and actually seeing when it's not time to do it yourself. Sometimes it's a lot better to donate to the people who know what to do with the money. And we know that Doctors Without Borders, they are doing some really great stuff all around the world. And we probably couldn't have designed a better operating table or anything like that. Sometimes it's better just to give to those who can use it. So this operating theater that we financed, it can actually help 700 patients each year. And then we have something that's really close to heart for us at Vestres. We have two megatrends that's really working for us. By 2050, there'll be 70% of us living in city centers. And we also see that more and more people choose to stay in the city for their entire lives. We need to have more livable cities, and that means more greener cities. So this is really something we are working with every day, and our whole business idea is around making social meeting places and having people come out and get some of that village community back into the cities we have today. And together with other partners, we also need to look at new developments, such as how do we treat surface water. It's massive challenge for landscape architects these years, and also how do we use modularity and flexibility to actually make spaces, make it possible to do more things in a tighter space. And okay, so we also need to or we're also offsetting our carbon, which is probably a debatable how much effect it has, but at least it has some effect, even though the quota prices are way too low. But we're helping some projects in this is from Colombia, where they're taking the methane out of a landfill. Methane is obviously a very potent gas, as you know, and we're currently working with some cook stoves in Ghana to offset our carbon. But again, it's something that we're not directly doing, but at the same time, you need to choose between which ones you can directly affect and which one indirectly. This goal number 15, life on land, we have currently we're using wood in almost all our products, and we're using 95% Nordic pine, which is a bit harder than the European pine, and it's really a great material, and it's probably from the most sustainable forestry in the world. But it still needs to be treated with linseed oil and impregnation. And okay, so we have it certified by the Nordic Swan today, but we still need to work to find a way to get the copper out of the impregnation, because it's still not completely good for the environment. And also here we have taken a value choice not to use tropical timber. Instead you have different alternatives like kebony and akoya, which are also made of pine, but treated in a way so they become even harder than teak and mahogany and those other woods. Yeah, and it's never possible to achieve these goals alone, especially for a small outdoor furniture producer. So we need to work with the right partners, and that's why I'm really glad we started the collaboration with CIRCit here. We're currently doing work package 2, which is circular business models. Just been finding like around 4 really interesting ideas with Marina that we're gonna continue working with, and then we're looking to join or to start the work package 3 to develop products that are even more circular, because our products are quite simple, so it's you can take them apart once they have an end of life and such, but we still need to look at how can products become even more circular. And we're already doing some testing on maintaining the furniture and how can we combine that with some social sustainability. And this is actually a collaboration we did with the Church Aid in Oslo. That froze there. Don't know exactly why. Anyway, so we worked with the Church Aid to do a pilot last summer to have them maintain, wash, clean the benches, and change some wood slats, fix some screws. At no cost for the customer, but we see definitely potential in that becoming a business model going forward. We're going to do another pilot in either Stockholm or Gothenburg this year, and I think we should just look at the video we made briefly.
Vi er vedlikeholdsteamet til Vestre. Dette prosjektet har blitt laget for å hjelpe folk tilbake i arbeidslivet. Vi vasker og oljer møblene sånn at de skal se pene ut igjen. Det er fint at ting tas vare på i stedet for at det bare kastes og kjøpes nytt. Og disse møblene har potensial for å holde veldig, veldig lenge med litt enkel vedlikehold.
And one thing that's interesting about these guys are actually guys with holes in their CVs, so they can't get a regular job. So how can we get people back into the workforce? We figure that a reference from a job or a project like this might help them to move back into a more sustained stay within the workforce. And when the grandfather of the current owner started this company, it was already with a lot of the circular aspects in mind, in terms of the use and throw society that we have today is something that we have never approved of and never will. The products are hot dip galvanized. It basically means you have a lifetime warranty against rust. You have 15 years on wood, you have 15 years on lacquer. Once a part goes bust, we can replace it. Sometimes not at a very good profit, but that's what CIRCit is also here to help us with. How do we do it smarter? But all in all, it's something about quality. I heard Bang Olufsen is also here today. It's another example of great quality producer. It's something about getting the customers, the end customers, to actually care about their stuff again. It may sound cliche, but that's basically what it is, because today it's way too much of if it's broken or slightly, you have a hole in your sweater or something like that, it's going to be thrown away. But we have we usually have a saying that mending is better than ending, and that's I think that's it. Yeah.
It's very nice to see how a company is bringing together the SDGs and the circular economy, and it's actually possible to do that. Do we have any questions from the audience? We have time for a few questions. Yeah, two.
The amount of resources that the company is putting in terms of manpower, what is that? Is that 2 or 3 or 5 people, or is it 10 people, or is it the whole company that are doing small side pet projects? How is these ideas developed?
The ideas, they could come from anyone, but it's currently I'm sitting on the project manager role of these projects. But some of them involve different parts of the business. Some of them are with external partners, obviously. But we're quite a lean organization, so we don't really have a big staff on this. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
Do Vestres take back the products after use?
We currently, that's what we're working on now, to get the structure, back-end structure up to make us able to do that. But currently we have some specific projects, like we have JC Decaux, the big commercial giant. They had bought 200 litter bins from us in the 90s, and they were wondering if they could refurbish them. So we actually took them all back and gave them a shine up. So it's possible to do it for us now, but it's more on an ad hoc basis. But we are definitely looking into that as a potential business idea as well.
Any more questions? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.